All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Purple Podcast. This is your host, Austin. Hope you're doing well out there today. I'm doing all right myself. It is a Friday Eve. You can also tell if you're watching this is a good time to note that we are a video podcast. So if you're just listening to the audio of this, great. Thank you for listening. But if you want some video as well, it does exist. It's out there on YouTube. You can find that. I am representing my Miami Dolphins tonight with the hat. We have fired our head coach today, so
Just saw
some
that,
big shifts,
Us.
some big changes ahead. I don't mean to celebrate by any means someone losing their job. I don't think that's necessarily appropriate, but in a league such as the NFL, this is how it goes. So it's part of the game. It's part of the territory, and I am excited for what's to come. We got rid of our GM midway through the season this year, a guy who'd been with us since, hell, it's probably been 10 years now. And at this point in time, the Dolphins are the franchise without a playoff win for the longest period of time, currently the streak running. I don't know if it's like the longest ever. I don't believe it's the longest ever, but it's the current longest active streak. I think the last win was 2001, 2000, maybe, our last playoff win. So, pretty rough for my Dolphins, but you know what? I digress. Let's get off that, but felt like talking about it came up. Fellas, welcome to the booth. How you doing today?
Doing well, my friend. We got some big news, Us. You want to announce?
Oh, that's true, because I am currently drinking a kava. Let me try to not spill this. Clinkies.
Clinks. And
But,
why are you drinking that?
I am drinking that because Dana and I, my fiance, have a great friend who got us a lot of wine bottles with a lot of periodic events. I just got engaged in 2025, not this year anymore because it is 2026, but a lot of things to come. So upon those milestones, she gave the kind of like I don't know what you're going to call it. There was a label left on them. So it's like when you choose your venue is what we have here tonight. We have chosen our wedding venue and our wedding date. It'll be November 7th, which will be a day after our boy Griffin's birthday here. It's also the day that the day after that Will Byers was taken, which is kind of interesting how that came up. And it's also Dana's father's birthday on November 6th. So pretty decent significance with that. And it's also a month after my birthday. So I guess it's all kind of cool. Got a nice date about it. Hopefully we get some decent weather because Buffalo can be nasty very early into the year. So maybe we get a lot of snow, but maybe that would work. Maybe it'd be fitting. So we'll see. But that is why we're drinking the sparkling wine of Spain, the Cava, tonight. And also,
There we go.
we can say a celebration for this movie. Marty Supreme, and it's technically Griffin's pick, but I will say as your host, I maybe influence this pick a bit. As we said, we're trying to see the new movies coming out. It is our obligation, our duty, and what we're making a priority in 2026. It is a movie from 2025, but it just got released, and that's what we watched, guys. So let's go ahead and kick this one off, and I'll send it your all's way. What are your kind of first impressions, first thoughts? How's the film sitting with you? What are you thinking?
You take it, Dad.
Well, guys, I went to see it yesterday. I'll tell you this: it was, after knowing that this is the same guys that did Uncut Gems. I was telling Griffin earlier, this movie reminded me quite a bit of it. We've got this guy that's kind of down on his luck. He's this guy's kind of a scammer. He's a salesman. He's a shyster.
A Frank Gallagher type.
Yeah,
in a way,
in a lot of ways.
No shame in the game.
No, let me say this: he's a lovable, Gallagher type character. Apparently, the ladies love him. We found that out. In the shoe store, the ladies they're crazy about him. We find out later on that Gwyneth Paltrow's got the hots for him too. She can't get enough of him. So he's got something going for him.
Charisma would be what that is. Confidence.
I think it's I sometimes, you know what, you may be right, Austin. You know, the ladies sure like the guy that always seems like he knows what's up next. You know, he's the guy that walks in the restaurant and all the waiters and all the staff know exactly who he is, and they start popping for him. And this guy was bold enough to, he didn't care, man. He did not care. He would go to anyone, ask anyone for anything. I mean, the guy had no shame in his game, obviously. And we find out on top of all that, the reason why he wanted to play in all these tournaments and table tennis. I mean, the guy was one hell of a table tennis player. I'm going to be honest with you, Austin. I said this to Griff last night. You know, I kept waiting. I thought that orange ball was significant. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought it was significant when it said Marty Supreme on it. I'm like, here we go. This is, you know, because I read a little bit about the character that this is loosely based off of, the Marty Reisman. I bet, you know, I read a little bit about it, but I thought that orange ball was going somewhere, man. That kind of threw me off.
Well, if you paid any attention to the marketing for this movie and the kind of media campaign, that orange ball you would have thought was going to be integral to the plot line. And it really did not have too much significance in the whole thing. I'm trying to think like what it could represent. You know, maybe it's just him not following through and the people that get screwed over in his path, you know, because it's supposed to be this business plan with those guys and he has real no follow through with it because it's just, I don't know, doesn't get around to being it. But I did not know what the movie was going to be. I didn't know where it was going to go. I thought it was maybe, you know, he becomes the world champion and then these orange balls become a massive, you know, financial success or something. That's kind of what I thought it was going to get into, which it was not at all at the end of the day. And, you know, did you like the movie?
Me personally, I don't want to say slow because that's not, it seemed, I don't want to say drag either, but it seemed, again, like Uncut Gems, you know, you see this guy, you see him develop and he finally, it's almost like he's non-human at one point. Then he becomes a human when that baby arrives. I mean, I thought that was the scene of the movie when that little baby kind of coos at him and smiles at him. I loved it as a father.
To my life.
Yes. Oh, that was, man, oh man, that was the scene for me. And I don't know how they got that baby to smile like that. That was wonderful, wonderful scene. But you see him grow and you see him, you know, here he had avoided that woman the entire time. What was her name? Help me here, guys.
Rachel.
And I thought she was a cutie in it. And until I found out she was married, and it's like, oh my God, you know, this guy's messing around with a married woman. But at the end, the husband, you know, boots her and she's in the hospital and he tells her he loves her. And then he goes seeing the baby and you're like, voila, we've got, this guy is, you know, the character has grown. Did I like it? It was, if I had to rate 1 to 5, it's a 3 to me.
Oh, okay.
It's a 3 to me. I mean, would I tell,
bad, though.
No, would I tell you guys to go see it? I would say, go, you know, guys, go see it. Don't have any aspirations that this is a great movie. It was good. I thought Timothy Chalamet, I liked him. That dude, man, he's got something special. I was teasing Austin before we got on. I'm like, the dude needs to put some weight on. He is super, super thin, but man, he can act, man. He's so believable.
Well, I was telling you that Marty Reisman, his nickname was,
you
know, the needle, because he was
needle.
so thin. So it fits he fit the role.
Well, he was perfect for that role. He was perfect for the role, but I think he's one hell of an actor. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him. Again, you can always tell when they're great actors when you get, you know, example, The Departed. You get DiCaprio in there with Jack Nicholson, those kind of guys. You get to see them bounce. I would love to see this guy with a phenomenal actor and see how he does. And you guys know more about this guy. Has he been in that kind of movie before?
I mean, I would think he has been.
He has definitely been in plenty that would say, like his first movie that I would call back to is Interstellar. He doesn't have a big role and wasn't big yet in that. His breakout, I'd say, was in 2017 with Call Me By Your Name, Lady Bird. And that's where I actually started watching him, was Call Me By Your Name. A little different movie, but like a really interesting movie. And it's also I think it's set in like France. So like it's just beautiful scenery throughout it as well. And it's like a summer vacation in France, I think is the setting. So really beautiful scenery in that one. Enjoyed that. But Hot Summer Nights as well, which I don't think is a very appreciated movie in his kind of catalog, but it also has the guy who plays Rachel's husband in it. I think it's something Cohen, the guy who he's also in The Place Beyond Me. Emery Cohen. So he's the guy who plays someone in that movie as well, Hot Summer Nights, which is just kind of interesting. They're in a movie together again. But I'm trying to see what movie would be the one that the thing is that he's carried movies so much. So it's not even that he's had to bounce off with the greats, but Dune is a franchise.
Dune 2 was one of the best movies I've ever seen in the theaters. That movie was so good. It like shocked me how good it was. I was like, it was amazing.
Well, I will say this, the table tennis, ping pong.
A Complete Unknown was also a very big role.
Oh, A Complete Unknown. Yeah, that was a great one.
Sure it was.
That was a great one.
And
he was Ed Norton. Ed Norton was in A Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
If you guys remember
and
that.
I thought, you all know what I thought of that. I thought he was shining in that one. So the kid can act. I think this kid's going to be.
He's the best actor in like this up and coming generation. He is definitely the next.
You took the words out of my mouth.
I wouldn't even want to say next up, but like there is a very, very likely possibility that he wins best actor for this role. Like it's already being talked about. He's going to be nominated for it, undeniably. I heard that
before I went in.
This movie's going to be nominated for Best Picture as well. And it's going to win. It's going to do it. It's going to be nominated for a lot of the Oscars. It'll be interesting to see how many of them that win. I think still one battle if there are another is going to get Best Picture, but I think Timmy gets his first Best Actor win with this one for sure, because also it's piggybacking his performance as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, which I believe he was nominated for as well. And, didn't win. So and they gave it to someone it was Adrian Brody, right? They gave it to Adrian Brody, who had already had an Oscar for Best Actor. So I think this one, I don't want to call it a consolation because he definitely earned it, but that has a contributing element to it that he definitely could have won last year. And now that he backed it up with another brilliant performance with Marty Supreme, I think he's a lock, man. It's probably minus 250 that he wins Best Actor or something right now. I don't think he'd win money placing that bet right now.
Huh. Griff, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I do agree with everything we're saying. I think that there were a lot of really dynamic performances. I did enjoy watching the movie, and you had kind of
Timmy's minus 230 as Best Actor. Sorry.
Well, you told me in advance, Austin. You said it has a really frantic pacing, and there is this kind of like nervous almost energy to the movie, which I actually
very controversial, like The Departed. There's always controversy.
Oh yeah, no.
What friction?
Well, it really surprised me when it got as bleak as it did. I mean, people dying, shootouts. And you kind of just saw how all of these decisions he was making, you were waiting because the movie I anticipated was him going on to win a bunch of these world titles. And then I thought the Orange Ball was going to be a big deal, like we said. And what you actually see is how all of these decisions he's making are just biting him in the ass and leading to another pitfall, another issue. And I mean, there were some really gorgeous scenes in this movie, and we'll talk about those, of course, but I would be lying to say that I thought it was like, I think that in some ways it was really, really, really high quality, and there were just some really amazing aspects of the movie, but as a whole, the story was a little bit aimless to me in a lot of ways. I did get a lot of emotion out of it, though. Like, not to keep doing this, but I think we'll talk about that too. Like, it was a very inspiring movie, and I have my own personal connections. But yeah, I think for the majority of it, I really, really enjoyed it. But once I was leaving the theater, I was like, man, I don't know if that was like, I don't really, really know if everything sat perfectly for me. It just, I don't know. Maybe that was the point, was that it was going to betray your expectation.
Yeah, I mean, I really, I do love what you're saying, because I felt a lot of that with the movie too. And I would definitely say that this movie, as time has passed, has continued to grow and grow and grow on me. And I think it's, I think I even said to you when I first got out of the theater, it's like, I like that movie. That was an undeniably good movie. Is it one of my favorite movies? I don't think it could be. And that's probably because of the fact that, it's a very much just like a human exploration. And there's not, it's not your status quo story, but I think I can appreciate this movie massively. And I think that's where I'm really enjoying it. I actually really want to see it again. So I think I would be lying if I said I didn't like the movie. And I just watched Uncut Gems last night. Adam Sandler kicks ass in that role. It's a great movie.
Good.
But another one of them, same theme. Like I said, this one is a spiritual sequel, thematic sequel. It's the same exact theme and character kind of exploration, different kind of, peripherals around it, but pretty damn similar. And I think that's really cool. But it would be interesting to see them do something different. Like I said as well, and this is something we have to mention and something to think about. Uncut Gems was both of the Safdie brothers together. They split up after that because they wanted to, try to do something themselves. And I think it's Josh did this one, correct? Yeah, Josh Safdie did this one, and then Ben Safdie did the Smashing Machine, which it did not perform well, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think Marty Supreme got the flowers in that instance.
I would say so. This is the darling, and I don't know. I mean, I think Timmy's the safer bet at this point, honestly. Like, you can't trust that like a movie star is going to sell a movie these days. Like, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a massive movie star, like a massive name, but like that's not necessarily, people just didn't give a shit. So you still got to do other things to make people interested. And I think Timmy's just about as sure bet as you're going to get. Leo's a name like that, but you see him in one battle after another.
I think Brad Pitt might be another name too.
Brad Pitt too. I mean, F1 tore it up for
hell
sure.
Yeah, it did.
F1 rocked, man.
That's my favorite movie of the year so far.
Really?
I got that.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
You know, when we talk about movies, and you're talking about, hey, he's a lock. Dude, I don't know about that. Right. My dude Brad Pitt sure looked, he kicked ass in F1.
But coming back to like, my kind of explanation of everything, and like the movie has continued to grow on me, and I probably appreciate the movie more than I actually like it, but I think there was really good stuff too. And I think I'll go ahead and say probably my biggest theme and like the most hard hitting and impactful one is, definitely relationships. That's a massive one. But I think like the fatherhood and like parenthood element of this and having to step up to the plate, the obligation. This guy that was 150% focused on ping pong. As soon as he saw his, son or daughter's face, you can tell that was the switch in priorities, and this calling that maybe once was. Also he did kind of square that off. He beat the best player in the world, even though it wasn't for the championship or anything, and there won't be the the worldwide fame perhaps afterwards. But he mentally conquered that mountain. And, maybe that allows him to now become the father that he should be. But I would like to think that the message is more so that, that was the changing point in him. So I think that's the biggest thing to take from it. And I think that was the stuff that like really kind of continued to grow on me, was that relationship with Rachel as well, who was a childhood friend of his, which just adds an extra layer to the relationship. And the understanding to it and why they'd be so close and why that's such a special relationship too, because you got to figure that they were friends doing, the little kids when you weren't doing dating or any of the, the stuff that they were doing at the shoe shop, of course. But I think ultimately this movie was maybe it's cliche, maybe it's just, I don't know. It was an experience, man, and it locked you in.
It was high art. It definitely was,
And it was an original piece too. It was based off of a character, but it took full liberties. It was an original story based on this character. So I think that's something that as moviegoers and lovers, we need to appreciate. And it was very well done. It was very well acted. The score kicks ass. Very interesting decision to have a movie set in the 1950s and set it to a 1980s like soundtrack and score.
I loved that. I thought that was so
worked.
Cool.
But it worked very, very well. It was great. So
yeah, they had the Tears for Fears, like you mentioned. It was like, dang, that got me immediately. I was like, wow, they're like just kind of doing whatever. Normally they're going to keep it within the time period, but
yeah.
Man,
and I'm a Timmy stan too. The guy he put on a performance that is Oscar worthy, and it's going to be remembered for a lifetime. I really do think this one was one of those pieces for him. Well, Marty Supreme, and it just had such a good vibe to it all too. That's like nearly Tarantino in ways. Like it's got some of that like horrible gore. It's super realistic though. It's a super realistic and gritty depiction. I was hearing them saying like in terms of making the street feel lived in, they made the debris wet, like the newspapers that they would set on the ground. You'd make it wet so it just felt a little grungier and dirtier.
Well, and I mean, it's funny because I think you and I, Austin, we could talk about this, all night. Dad, what's your kind of feeling of this? Like, I feel like I can sense your eyes glazing over a little bit. Like, give it to me. Like, what, you know what I'm getting at. What's your
Griffin? I'm trying to hold my tongue and let Austin talk. And I don't. He's. Oh my gosh! I thought it was. It was watchable. It was one that kept your attention. I don't think it was. Is this thing worth an Academy Award? No. But these are the kind of
off-based.
I mean, if this wins an Academy Award, guys, and again, this is the age difference. If this wins an Academy Award, this shows how bad this shows that it's really that movies have just dipped, in my opinion. Do I think this young man did a fantastic job as an actor to carry this movie? Yes, I thought he did. Is it Oscar worthy, Academy Award? No. I don't think so. But hey, Austin, in your defense, worse movies have won.
Of course they have. And let's say this
worse
too.
Movies have won. And I just think, Austin, I think a lot of this just shows how just brutal it is out there movie wise. We're not putting great movies out anymore. We're just not putting those movies out that are not great.
That's not true. I will not agree with that.
You really think this movie is an Academy Award movie?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm not going to say that the award system is the best process.
Some of the reviews? Have you read some of the reviews on this movie? And I was going to bring those up, but I didn't. There's ones that are saying people were like, oh my God, this was bad. I mean, you saw those, I'm sure.
Mike, there are like 500 billion people on Earth. What does that mean? Like, of course, that's what happens. Like, there is not a movie that everyone's going to like. And this one in particular is not.
Good to have the differences of opinion.
Jump in here.
But I think saying that good movies don't exist anymore because this one that's like going to be pretty widely viewed as a good movie I think that's a hot take. They are making good movies today. And the Oscars nor any award system is the best system ever. This movie feels like an Oscar, like, I'm not going to say it's an Oscar bait movie, but it's the movie that the Oscars love.
I think
that's 100%.
I'm going to, and I apologize. It's a little bit of, and again, Austin, you and I think, love this, and we can appreciate what kind of the feel of this movie is and what this kind of maybe art is, as I see it. It's a little bit masturbatory, this kind of movie is, and I just don't think that's everyone's bag, you know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? It's very, I don't want to say it's like, I can't.
This is a hated, or I don't think this myself, but this is you could very much say this is a hate it or love it movie. Yeah, I don't think that's hard to say it either. It can either turn you off or you can really like this one.
And I'm not going to say it turned me off. I'm just going to say that, you had the pieces to make a great movie. And I think
what makes a great movie to you? What makes a great movie?
That's a great question, Griffin.
Yeah, what makes a great movie? What was it missing that made it not a great movie to you?
Let me see. Like in Shawshank, it had that, this had a happy ending. I'm assuming that he's going to get his stuff together and he's going to become.
Well, we could ask that question too. What does happen to him? We'll say.
Yeah, I think so. But I like a feel good movie. This wasn't a great feel good movie for me.
No, that's not going to give it to you. But does that make it a bad movie?
No, but it just to me, it was like you guys are pointing out, and I completely agree. It was a little hectic. It made me a little nervous. This guy was, he was all over the place. I mean, Austin, the guy in front of one of the biggest businessmen in the world pulls down his pants, balls and all, and takes one to the backside in front of 6 men.
Hey, Timmy insisted that he did that role himself, or that scene himself.
I read that.
And guys, I'll say this. I went, oh my God. I mean,
it might get him an Oscar.
Maybe showing your taint will get it. I don't know. I mean, maybe it will. But I just thought it made me real nervous. I mean, there was always that he could get caught. He's fooling around with Rockwell's wife, for God's sake. The police catch him.
Wonderful.
I mean, it.
I get where you're coming from, but you're not really hitting on like what. I think is it that the movie just didn't. Was it that it just did not have a clear enough point to you, or what was it? Did it
not go a straightforward movie?
I really don't know what I watched. I mean, I watched this cat going around. He's playing ping pong.
Maybe it was a lack of focus, Austin. And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Is it lack of focus on me?
No. I'm saying maybe what you didn't like about it was that it did not have a super clear focus in terms of what you were expecting, what you like out of a movie. Do you feel like that might have been it, or maybe not a clear enough message?
Again, guys, it just, if you're asking, did I like it? Yeah, it's okay.
Well, the thing about the movie is it's very
didn't really have a point. I mean, what was
I think there's like I said, I think parenthood, fatherhood, and your call and your meaning in life. I think that's the biggest thing.
I think it was just that it's growing up. I mean, everyone grows up and has a huge dream, and you're committed to it. I mean, that resonated with me so intensely because that's been my entire life.
How did he pull Kay Stone, the former actress?
Listen to this. Something I want to say, guys, just real quick, and I know we're kind of jabbering here, but here's a good thing. The fact that we are having this conversation and the fact that it's a little bit tense, that tells me what kind of movie we're dealing with. That's a good movie. that
you
can
want
get
a thought-provoking
sparked
movie,
up.
of course.
Yeah.
Did you think that Gwyneth Paltrow and Chalamet had chemistry on the screen?
Ooh, good question.
Did you think it? I mean,
You answer us.
I want to know what you all thought, and that will tell me everything I need to know.
I don't think it was ever supposed to make sense optically per se, but I do believe it because what I was kind of getting at there with Kay Stone, she's a former actress, fallen angel. She's had her career and her aspirations, and she's succeeded in them, but it's kind of fallen on hard times, right? Her husband's putting on plays for her out of pity. That's what's going on. So she sees this up and comer with all this juice, ecstatic, passionate about his passion. And that is what really pulls her in and draws her in. So I do believe in that element of it. And of course, like, Mr. Wonderful's a fucking prick. Why wouldn't you be cheating on that fucker?
Yeah, that I agree. Griffin, what were your thoughts on the chemistry between them?
I think that Timmy did a great job of like being charismatic, and I really believed a lot of that. I think individually in their performances, I think Gwyneth Paltrow and Timmy did great jobs. I kind of had the same feeling, Austin. While I was watching, I was like, I don't really think this makes that much sense. This feels a little bit weird. It wasn't like, I think with that sort of relationship in a movie, you would expect to be a little bit like, oh, this is kind of steamy. This is kind of going somewhere. It felt a little bit like, really? Oh, okay. And I mean, like, it's not that Timmy didn't have the presence to pull it off. I don't know what it was. It's just like, I do agree. I didn't fully believe it, and it didn't really, it wasn't maybe what I think they maybe intended for it to be, but
I don't know. I don't think it was supposed to be like a deep, full relationship. I think it was supposed to always be very surface level. Like her giving him gifts, it's because she could. She didn't have any issues with money. And it's like, like I like this guy enough, but I don't think she was ever leaving her husband. That was never going to happen. Timmy was never going to really settle down for her either. He was on his mission. So it was just passing ways and doing it to do it. I think.
Yeah, but I think even with that still, it's like, do you even think that she would have given him that time? Because, like, I think your response would be, no, there's no way in hell talking to you, Dad. And to me, it's like, I don't really know, even though there was no intention for it to be anything more than this kind of just affair, I don't even know if she would have been persuaded to give him that kind of time. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was just very uninterested in her husband. I think that's where I'm coming from with it. It's like, I think she was looking for any goddamn out. Like it didn't take much. He really didn't. He just had to put on a little bit of a show, light some fireworks, and she wanted to feel alive, I think is what happened. So
my thing was, guys, you've got two very attractive actors. You've got you've got Timmy, you got Gwyneth Paltrow. I just I go back to you put and again, maybe I'm comparing them, but I really don't mean it this way. But if you've seen like Brad Pitt and Thelma and Louise, with the ladies, you're like, damn, that's I buy
but
that.
That's a completely different
It never
vibe.
was.
It's not like what it's even
well,
like. It's not the type of relationship.
Well, hear me out. It just didn't feel. I never felt any romance between those two at all. It felt weird. It felt like, it just didn't. I never felt that. And
he's a scumbag. I think like half the time she hates him too. It's
and
just
Austin,
like
maybe you know what? That's a really good point, Austin. Is maybe he was just such a shitbird at the time that maybe that's it for me. Maybe I just need to talk through that. I just never felt that at all. I thought she did a good job. She was very believable. Again, I thought Chalamet, I thought he's very believable because he's like you said, he's kind of a shitbird.
I think we need to get into scenes here, fellas.
I've got
yapping.
4 of them, guys. Let me give you my 4. I've already said the one when he gets when when his character Marty gets spanked in front of that group, I was like, oh man,
Public paddling.
Woo! He got it. This is for saying something about my son. Smack, lit his ass up. Number 2 was I like it when they went to go look for Ezra's dog. And again, maybe this is why I like movies, is when that guy leaned his head in the window and that they shot his face off. It shocked me. I jumped back in my seat because
Tarantino-like, right?
Yes, it was that kind of. I went, oh shit! I mean, because I was kind of dragging along. I guess so much butter in my popcorn.
Well, there hadn't been like killings yet either. We saw the guy's arm broken in half, but
that was a kick-ass scene. When he's taking a bath in the bathtub and it falls through the floor and it lands on Ezra's hand or arm, and he's sitting there with his little skinny ass hanging out. I'm sorry. I started laughing myself. I was like, that's funny. I like that. I thought that was good. And then number 4, I really like the scene when he beat Enzo. Is it Enzo?
Endo with a D.
I'm sorry, Endo. Yeah, I had that down. When he beats Endo 22-20, I like that. It was like he lays on the floor and you could just feel that, man, this guy's really good. And I did beat him at his best. So those were my. Well,
I love at the end how he goes up to him as
he
well.
Hugs him. Yeah.
Like Marty has been a dickhead through this terrible sportsmanship at all times.
Yes.
He beats him and he's like weeping almost, like you're a great player. It took that. He just had to get over the mountain for him to not be a dickhead,
Yeah, and he was not a good winner or loser. I mean, let's face it.
I wasn't the best either myself sometimes.
I wasn't either, so I can completely relate to him.
I'd get nasty as hell with refs sometimes.
But Austin, I'll tell you this.
Talk about
the scenes where he's playing, Griffin, I had to talk to a priest for you. Yeah, good one, Griffin. Where he's playing ping pong. I mean, it was believable, Austin. Those scenes were great. Just the way he played. I mean, there was never one moment in the movie where I went, oh, that's not real. It all felt real.
Yeah, it did, man. And
I've
already said it. This movie kept growing on me, and it's because I just kept thinking about it. And I was like, wow, man, like, if it's still kind of, registering, you got to note that. And it's climbed my rankings because of it. It was just, and I didn't feel like I loved it walking out of it, but it's like, man, that really was just, I was drawn in the entire time, and the good performances matter. The way it's shot matters. Like, it just was a good piece, man. It's hard to discredit that, in my opinion.
And Austin, you've had a few more days to digest. I watched it yesterday. I tried to get home and write as many notes as I could. Basically, as soon as I got in the car, I started taking notes. So maybe if I saw this one again, I think the kid thought he did a fabulous job. Maybe I would get more out of it if I watched it again.
Well, the thing is it is a very hard movie to love because it is so, like, it gives you so many icky feelings throughout it. Like, it doesn't make you feel awesome in all these situations.
No,
most of us are conflict averse, and this is constant conflict and screwing people over and like making the worst decisions and fucking up your golden ticket. It's horrible. Like, it's a spiral. It's a constant spiral. So it's not an easy one to love. That is for sure.
No doubt. If I may get on my favorite scenes, for one, that scene where he beats Endo, that's kind of the big moment I think that you were waiting for, that tremendous success. And the way that Chalamet played it when he got that final point, and I think he just like threw the paddle in the air, and just like the movement of his body as he was just like exalted. That was amazing to me. It was so believable and strong.
I think what he is, man, like he's a very human actor. Like he does things that you're not writing into the script, and he's just very relatable in some, like, the exasperations. One of the scenes that I saw an interview with him and Safdie when he's playing his friend, the one who was the concentration camp survivor, and they do the little kind of flare around or hitting it between their legs, and at the end, his friend gives it up to him, and he lets out this little, like he was surprised by what he knew, but he knew what his friend was doing it. And that just little, and then slams it on him because he was giving him the point. That kind of realization, you don't write that in the script so much, and that was acting, and it's just something that's like that makes a lot of sense. And he is being this character. It's not acting, so it really just bleeds through. That I think the guy loves what he's doing, and is just kicking ass at it. He's just having fun, and it's pretty natural for him. I don't think it's all too difficult for him. And that maybe that's just discrediting his process. He seems like a hard worker, so I don't want to do that. But hats off.
No, I mean,
keep going. Sorry,
no, you're good.
Fucking interjected.
You're good. I mean, he played that scene great. And what got me was seeing Rockwell, Kevin O'Leary's face, where he just got screwed. Like, he made this threat. Hey, I'll screw you over if you win this game.
I'm a vampire.
Yeah, and he just...
I'm a 600-year-old vampire.
Well, he shoved it down the dude's neck, and you could see the guy, how much he respected him in that moment. And you could tell that the guy just realized he witnessed a kind of greatness that happened. And I think that O'Leary's face in that moment, it was pretty astounding. That's what got me. It was Chalamet and also his face looking at him like, God damn, that kid really did that. It was respect to me. I loved it. Another scene, this is going to sound weird, guys, but one of the scenes that hit me the absolute hardest, no kidding, I got two of them. The first one is when Chalamet calls over, when he says to that waiter, hey, I'm going to pay for that table. And Rockwell walks over and says, what are you doing? Do I know you? And he goes, hey, this is my buddy. He was in the concentration camps, and they kind of have that little scuffle about like, oh, well, my son died trying to liberate you and whatever it was. But he says, go tell him the story. Tell him the story you told me. And, you're listening to him go, oh, well, they liked me because I played ping pong, so they taught me how to defuse these bombs. Or maybe, was it to defuse them or was it to literally set the bombs? I don't know what it was, but he says, yeah, I was out in the field one day doing it, and I see this big honeycomb, and, I scared off the bees with some smoke, and I put this honey all over my body, and you're like, what the hell is happening? And then he goes, he's like, why the hell did you do that? And he said, well, I took it to my bunker with all the other guys and let them eat off me. And it was and he just let it hang in the air. And you see these just desperate guys just licking this honey off his hairy body. And he's
the honey holocaust.
He's standing there in this Jesus pose, and call it weird, call it whatever you want. But it really was impactful to me just because it was so like, what an amazing thing to do. I thought it was just fantastic. And they didn't give you anything after that. They just shoved it down your neck. And I was like, that was powerful as hell.
Apparently that's a true story that guy did.
I loved that. What were you going to say, Dad?
Griffin, that's why I didn't like the movie. There it is right there. And one big thing is I didn't like that. I don't like any sticky things at all. So that freaked me out.
That was a pretty uncomforting scene for sure.
As I told you, a lot of it made me nervous because I kept thinking of the repercussions. He's doing all these, sketchy things. And then you see that scene and you're like, did that really just happen? That was...
Well, and like the sperm fertilizing the egg. They have these breaks, they do these little weird breaks and Uncut Gems. They start off really with different. Adam Sandler having a colonoscopy and you're inside of him. Like there's all these really weird sequences that they like to include in their, well, I guess in this one, it was just one of them, but yeah, those kind of weird breaks of reality. And just, I thought another really fun one of those things was the Japanese kind of commercial showing after Marty had lost to Indo and Indo becoming like a national star. I thought that was awesome.
That was fun. Yeah, I like that.
That was really cool. That was a great one of those like kind of little scenes.
Well, shoot, honestly, there were a lot of fun scenes. I'll kind of run through them. I liked when he's with his uncle? That guy who worked at the shoe store and like
his uncle was awesome too.
His uncle was pays to have him arrested for stealing the money, and they're in his mom's apartment. And I'm a part of this movie. It goes with the grittiness. Was all of the New York, all of hey, what's going on, man? You know, and these guys just hey, I'm gonna. You know,
I'd say Judaism is a big theme too.
Oh yeah,
you know, these Jewish.
Yes, it was.
It was just so real, and it sounded like these guys were just talking. It didn't sound scripted at all, kind of to your earlier point, Austin. So I loved that. I like seeing the scenes with Marty and Wally as well, where they kind of what's that called when you kind
hustle?
They hustled those dudes. That was fun as hell. And Dad, I don't know if you know this, Wally, that was Tyler the Creator.
Tyler the Creator,
a super famous, amazing, talented rapper. So
yeah, well, there was guys in this movie.
He did great too.
Oh,
there were guys. There were guys in this movie that I kept going, who is that cat? Well, one of them was George the Iceman Gervin.
Yeah.
And I went, oh my God, that dude right there. I know him. And then I got out of the movie and I went, who the hell was it? And then I looked it up and I went, oh my, that was George Gervin.
Cameos is definitely a theme of their work as well. Sure. I mean, you got Tracy McGrady and Kimball Walker as Globetrotters in this. You got the voice. The actor's name. Yeah, the actor or the voice, the golden voice. And then there's also Fred Heikener, I think is how you say his name. He was in the most recent Gladiator 2 is one of like the brothers that take over, as well as White Lotus. Very small role. He was like the play guy. He was in the play. So interesting. Like they just enjoy doing that for some reason.
From Penn and Teller, he's the guy shooting that shotgun. I'll finish up quick. I'm sorry. There were like some impactful scenes in this movie. Another one I really loved was when he knocks off that part of the Egyptian pyramid. And you know, he's such a dick to his mom, but you know, he's being an asshole, and then he goes in his room and he grabs it out and he walks over to her and he gives her this gift and she's like, "What?" And she opens it real slowly and she's looking like, "What the hell is this?" He says, "Yeah, that's from a real Egyptian pyramid." And it was just like, you could tell she was like just absolutely in awe of what he did.
I almost thought she had asked for it earlier. Like I thought she had already asked. I was like, did I miss that line of dialogue? Because like she was enamored. Like you said, like she loved it.
I thought it was so cool because he was such a dick. But I think in that moment it showed that he did love his mom. And it just showed like, I just thought it was amazing. And you could see how in love with him she was. You know, I just thought it was a really awesome scene. And again, one that they didn't even give it the real podium. They just kind of made you sit with it and go, wow, that was awesome. And then just to take the last of the thunder, when he does get to see his baby at the end, and the whole movie he's going, hey, there's something you got to know about me. He's saying it to Rachel. He said, I'm never going to stop. I believe in this mission 100% of the way. There's nothing in the world that's going to stop me, and you have to know that. And then he sees that kid, and his whole life changes in an instant. And, you know, I've heard you talk about that, Dad. I admittedly, you know, you guys know that I'm the big dreamer. I mean, whether it's music, the podcast, any of these things. I mean, I'm as much of a dreamer as you can be. And, you know, now that I'm in a pretty great relationship, feeling good, it's like, oh shit, you know, your priorities do shift a little bit. You feel that happen. And it's like, damn, you know, that's what I think we really liked about this movie, Dad, is that I would say Austin and I are both big dreamers. And we were seeing this guy dream, and me even watching the movie, Austin, I almost felt bad. I felt like I had been slacking on my passions, on pushing. And then, you know, you see him kind of getting that moment where he's seeing that kid and everything shifted. But
you also see the yin to the yang and the sacrifices that you have if you are so headstrong in that passion. So those are those pitfalls you have to be
well,
mindful of.
I think that's the part that's sticking with you, Austin. I think that's what stuck with me, and that's what kind of piqued my interest. And I think that might be partially why this has been, again, a bit more of an argumentative episode, because I think that there are a lot of questions a movie like this raises. So I think that's a mark of a very, very good piece of work. So say what you want, but those were some of the scenes that hit me the hardest.
Yeah, great ones, man. And, we're getting a little lengthy here on time, so I'll move it along here. But some of my favorite scenes, I think the whole entrance of Marty being at the first tournament out in Wembley and kind of caking on Kay, I think that's great stuff. And then he loses and ends up with the Globetrotters, which is just awesome.
That's funny.
There's a scene in La La Land kind of like that, where it's just like, you're just way beneath your passions and dreams right now. You're settling so hard.
He's playing a walrus.
You're just trying. Yeah. You're just trying to, you're a carny. He's a carny, basically.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great stuff. And I already mentioned that black and white Japanese commercial. I thought that was kind of a really cool break of reality. I think, man, it's probably my second favorite scene, but a great scene is that one when Marty arrives home and starts running away. He's going to get arrested for the $700 that he stole earlier, which is, you honestly didn't think there were going to be any consequences of, because he was owed the money, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, they have that, and it was just his uncle paying it off, which is really funny and small towny in a way, that's really interesting. But he runs away and he sees Rachel, and she's pregnant as can be. And we already know. So I think that was a really heavy moment for me, a smaller scene, but him seeing her and and them both intuitively knowing probably in that instant that, that's his kid. And then, of course, Ira shows up, and there's a great line in there. He's like, what, are you going to get physical like an ape? Like, and it was really interesting. I watched another interview where they were saying, like, Safdie would have me, this is Timmy speaking. He said, Safdie would have me be reserved in moments that I thought I was supposed to go high on and really give a great performance. And then there were times when it was just normal dialogue and conversation when he'd want me to get kind of ramped up. And maybe that's just to increase the unpredictability of this character in a way. Maybe, I don't know what it is, but
Safdie guy's got a vision for sure.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, it's clear to see. I mean, it's very clear to see, and even more clear to see that now him and his brother kind of split ways and made their own separate projects. This one did follow the formula. It'd be interesting to see what he could do outside of this, of course. So what is their next movie, or his next movie? That would be interesting to see. But I think also once Rachel and Marty get kidnapped by Ezra and they have to go back to this place where the dog is, and it's going to be a fucking dog fight, like you just know. And I don't even know if the other guys knew that well. They probably should have informed them, like, hey, this guy literally shot at us with a shotgun the last time we were here. So you're not going to get this dog without killing somebody, basically. But in that moment, Rachel, who won a lot of points for me throughout this with her just, unreasonable love for Marty, to some degree, like she just loved the guy. I don't know what it was, and maybe it's that childhood relationship kind of thing. They just were imprinted on each other to a degree. So Rachel gets shot during this, and what'd she say to Marty? She says, "Oh, you got the money, so you can go now." Like, she loved the guy so much, and that really, like, heartened me. Like, she just got shot. She has a baby, and she wants to make this guy's dream come true. What is that? It was really, really bewildering to see. And I was terrified that she was going to die, because he just leaves. He goes and has to settle this. He has to play in a tournament. He leaves his baby in the bun. And, this lady that he ends up admitting that he loves is shot and wounded. He doesn't know. So I thought that was a pretty awesome scene. And then the final one is just amazing, because he does tell her that he loves her, and that switch is turned. And it's not like there's grand flowers. Like, this is a flawed protagonist. We like the guy, but he is not a very redeemable cat either. The things that he says throughout this, the things that he says to Rachel throughout this.
Yeah. He did
horrible
some super
stuff.
shitty things. He really
horrible,
did. And it kept getting
stuff.
worse too. And even another amazing scene is actually when Dion shows him the orange spheres. I thought that was so cool, and I love seeing how Marty was like, "Oh my God, these are awesome." I thought it was just so amazing how that happened. And, I think Dion was a really cool character, but I don't know. I thought, he screwed over Dion too. And it's like, damn, man. It just,
I'll talk about Dion a little later.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, I think I just got a little idea, but something else that was really funny was, I think Rachel goes, "Oh, you fat piece of shit." And then Marty was like, "Oh God, you can't say that to him. This is one of my best friends in the world." This is one of my favorite people in the world. You can't say that to him.
Well, I like when he's like, "You're 30 and you live with your fucking parents. I'm not quieting down, motherfucker." When they're getting in that big blowout fight at the end, it's like, "Shut the fuck up, Dion." And then he and throws the balls out the window. Yeah. They all go bouncing down the street. No, man, that was great. I missed another really great scene, but I love an extension to the hustling scene when Timmy and Tyler the Creator are dancing outside the car.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I thought that was really good.
As it's moving,
it was like, whoa, what's the song that they're singing? It's something along those lines. But yeah, man, it's sitting with me pretty good. I want to watch it again. I don't know if I'll make it to the theaters again, but I hope it's streaming soon. I would like to see the movie again. Let's move into our characters, guys.
Yeah.
We're nearing an hour here, so.
Well, Dad, why don't you knock it out? What's up with characters?
If we're saying our favorite character, I'm going to leave Marty for you guys. I thought that by far, Marty's character was by far the best. There's no ifs, ands, buts, maybes. He was. But I'm going to say this. I thought without Kevin O'Leary in it, he's such an asshole. But man, if there was a cat that was believable, he's believable. when he spanks his ass, man, I felt his enjoyment. I really did. And the thing is he's kind of looking around the room like, yeah, I'm the biggest cat in this room and I can do this.
Yeah.
And it was just, and when he told him,
you have no power in this situation. You don't know if I'm going to let you.
And when he told him, when he told him he was a vampire, and I thought he said, "I'm a 600-year-old vampire," I went, "Oh man!"
Apparently O'Leary kind of introduced that line. That was something he came up with, which is fun. I think this is his first performance, and I think he did do
great,
well.
guys.
He did great.
He was great. So by far, I think Timmy killed it. But this guy, without him, you don't have the same. You don't have the movie doesn't flow as well.
Well, Josh Safdie called him and said, "I need you to play a part for me," or he was pitching the part to him and said, "You don't have to act. Literally just be yourself. I just need an asshole."
I will say that's him. Yeah.
So,
Grip, who's your character?
Yeah, I couldn't pick anyone but Timmy, Marty McFly, Marty Mauser. I think he's got to be my favorite character, and he was an asshole, but you really cared for him because, like we said, he was a very flawed protagonist. But you saw his heart, and even in the moment where he's speaking to that ref or whatever the hell, that guy who was the head of ping pong, and he goes, "I grew up in New York. This is just what I learned. This is what I know. This is how I am. It was dog eat, dog eat. That's what it was." So, basically, I thought that was really cool. And we all do have our issues, and this kid was just super motivated. He was incredibly charming. I'm thinking of when he's speaking with Kay and he goes, "Yeah, this guy, he's screwing up the performance. If you needed to, you'd break through that fucking door. What's he doing? What's he doing?" And then she's like, "Oh, this kid gets it." And he hits whatever the hell up in the air and catches it, the knife, and then he goes for the kid. The guy was charming as hell. And when he when he throws that damn apple into the bowl after telling Kay he was going to do it, the guy was charming. And that's the reason why Rachel was head over heels for him. But, just in every way, I think that Timmy's performance was fantastic. And that would be my favorite character by far, but there really were a lot of great performances, even if maybe in my opinion, not every single aspect of the movie was right there.
Yeah. I mean, Timmy's my favorite character, but I'll choose Rachel for the podcast really for the episode. I mean, she's the one who makes him human at the end, and I think she was around for a lot of the ride, so I think she was awesome in it. Six Man, I'll go ahead and just kind of pop mine out there.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say, I feel like is Rachel too much of a six man? Because she could be your six man, I guess, but I don't know. That it was difficult to pick six man because people have like parts in the movie, but they're not full, front characters either. So maybe Wally. Let's give it to Tyler Creator. I think he was great. He was really fun. Their relationship, it was really cool. He's like, you can't keep screwing me over, man. Like he's the cab driver, and they absolutely just fuck his cab up. He's got a family to feed. They're just doing some dumbass shit in goddamn Marty's world.
Yeah, it's true,
guys. Six Man. I had to go with Fran Dressler, the mom.
Nice.
I thought her accent, although I'm sure that is her accent, I thought she was fantastic. She was believable. And one of you guys, I think Griffin said it, she really loved her boy, even though she knows he's a shyster and he's a shitbird and everything else. She loved her boy immensely.
Yeah, she was sleeping in his bed. I thought that was a really sweet reveal.
Yeah.
Like when he goes to sneak in and she's like, oh, I just had my water in there the other day or something.
Yeah.
But she's actually, she's just been sleeping in there.
Griffin, who's your sixth man?
Mine would actually be his the previous champion that he beat who put all the honey on him. I just really liked his character. I thought he was really
good.
Cool. I thought he was really cool, and he just had like this kind of unspoken swagger about him, and you could tell he cared for Marty as well, and they were doing the Globetrotters together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was good. I did enjoy him. What was his name in it? It was like Kaiser something, or
I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like a Lajzi Ehrlich.
Yeah.
So
yeah, something like that. I also really like for that, you could give it to Kodo Endo. I feel like he was fun in the movie, as like being the, the person to conquer. And Uncle Murray was hilarious at times.
He was good.
He was real funny. So really good one. How about our sad sack, fella?
Who you got, Dad?
Ezra. that poor bastard wanted I want my dog. I mean, here he gets
Moses.
I mean, the guy has a bathtub fall on top of him, snaps his arm.
Was he mafia or something? Was he mafia?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a mafioso. And then, then he goes to get his doggy. I hear my dog. Poof. And he gets blasted. Oh, it was horrible. I just felt sorry for the guy because he was a bad dude. We all know that. But he just loved his damn dog. He wanted his dog back. That's all he asked that guy.
I'm glad nothing worse happened to the dog. I mean, that dog was in some really bad situations. I thought it was going to be crushed by the tub. And then
you thought it was going to get burnt up.
Yeah, you thought he was going to get blasted, but then he goes running away. And it didn't get shot in the shootout either. So Moses might be the real winner of this movie.
Yeah, Moses may be. No doubt.
The sad sack of the movie's Ira. I mean, he's getting two-timed by Rachel. He gets his damn, lid about.
She was pretty pregnant when he found out too.
Oh yeah, and I mean.
Oh yeah, Griffin, I had him number 2.
I was about to say, he about got his head knocked off, and apparently he didn't even hurt her like she was kind of making it seem. I don't know what really happened, but yeah, Timmy, shame on you. I thought that was really funny too, because
what did he hit him with? Because he fucking
hit him with a trophy.
I didn't know what it was in his hand.
It was a trophy.
He grabbed it from his room.
It was a trophy. Yeah. The thing that made that really good is look at Timmy. The guy's not a badass in that conventional way.
He weighs $130.
He finds his moment. He cracks him, and then he runs in the room, and he wasn't like, "Hey man," it wasn't this big like commanding thing. Shame on you, and then he leaves. But Ira was the sad sack, man.
That's a good one. He's on my list. I got I got Lloyd in there, the shoe boy who's never going to be manager.
Oh, yeah.
I can fire you tomorrow. Yeah, I have power over you now. I can tell you what to do.
Yeah, Lloyd is an absolute sack, working his ass off, breaking his back. He's never going to be appreciated, never will be manager.
No.
You could say Milton Rockwell, but I think he's doing okay, even though his wife's sleeping around on him.
Yeah. He's probably sleeping around too, boys.
Yeah, he's probably dirty.
That could be true.
But Dion's one hell of a sack too, man. He's 30, living at his parents' place.
Yeah, poor bastard.
He put his cards in a bucket with goddamn Marty. You know, that was the pitch. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be getting fronted any money again.
I kept thinking Delightful Derek is what I kept thinking the whole time. When
he's a big fella. Yeah, I liked him though. He was a hell of a
he was a pretty darn good actor.
He was good in it. Themes and things, fellas.
Guys, I got a few of them. I'll kick us off.
Go on.
How about infidelity?
Oh.
Guys, this really hit home with me. One of you said it, and I think you're right. Dreamer.
Yeah.
Salesman, conman, shitbird. Circus folk.
Nice. Circus folk.
Ass spanking. No shame. And I thought of Shameless is when because he just had no shame.
Yeah.
He was kind of a nomad. He was super. How about cocky? And when he got beat, I thought, he got beat. How do I put that into a theme? How about knocked off your throne?
Dethroned.
Never had it though,
He was dethroned. Thank you, Griffin.
Well, you got it. I love it. I think a huge thing for me was New York, New York City, accents, grit, grunge, dirt, hyper realism. There was a lack of a point, but I do think that was intentional in a lot of ways. I think the movie was just very thought provoking. I think
it's very realistic and human,
Yeah, very human. There was a good deal of mastery at play, I would say. I mean, there was some really good stuff. I would call that a true cinematic experience. I think leading man is a great theme, just tireless ambition. That's what we see from Marty. I think, like you said, Dad, dreamers, dreams juxtaposed with fatherhood and familial responsibility. I mean, I think you really got a great taste of that. And I don't know. I think that's what really stuck out to me. Like I've already said, it was just, kind of seeing that difference he experienced after seeing his kid, going from being that big, there's nothing in the world that's going to stop me, dreamer type, to shoot. I might be settling down. I mean, he's literally crying at the sight of his child. So
yeah,
pretty
very
cool.
Very much like the last scene in Call Me by Your Name, which might have really sent Timmy into the stratosphere. There's this scene at the end of Call Me by Your Name where it's just as the credits roll, he's sitting by a fire. And you just see his face, and you can see the reflection of the fire kind of crackling on his face. And it's a very, sad moment. He's just sitting there, and this face he's making is crying. So it's a different feeling, but the same way this one ended of, Timmy, just a shot straight on him reacting. So that speaks to his chops, absolutely, because those were two of the best scenes in both of those movies, and you really, really feel it. There might not be a scene you would ever cry in this movie, but that one, I think you could. I think you definitely could.
You could get there.
Well, with some Tears for Fears playing, How could you not, right?
To your life. Yeah. What about you, Ost? Themes and things.
Yes. So I already got Frank Gallagher, the No Shame, but there's also like a Max Fisher from Rushmore, which is an old Wes Anderson movie. Jason Schwartzman plays it, this little school kid, and there's just this determination about him too. Just an unwily fella who always is in conflict. It's constantly happening because of how they are. They just live that way. They're always pushing forward, butting their heads in the wall. So conflict is a great one. How about ink pens? The ink pen magnet. How about ping pong? How about ping pong balls? How about orange ping pong balls? There's an acronym we have at work called FUN. How about fucked up nonsense for you guys? Love and weird love for sure. Realistic love. It's not always pretty, that's for sure. Harlem Globetrotters, basketball, sports. This is a sports movie. We got our 80s music and a 50s film. Interesting choice, but the soundtrack, score, synth, all that is just great stuff in it. Really, really works. I'm sure they took inspiration from The Last Dance, that kind of song for the Michael Jordan years, how they had that dun, dun, like the you know what it is. I don't need to do it for you. But also just like the amount of similar themes between this and Uncut Gems. So you got chaos, stress, anxiety, shitting your shot away, flawed protagonist, greaseballs, charisma. We got
Greasy.
Jewish folk and their, love of the NBA too. That's mentioned in Uncut Gems more so, but just basketball, they brought in Tracy McGrady and Kimball Walker. The Safdies are Jewish.
And George Gervin.
The Iceman.
So there's something about that for sure. Cameos, cleared rim glasses. Adam Sandler's character had them, a little different, but Timmy also had them in this. Marty Supreme, they have the very thin gold, but they're basically thin rim glasses. Just something interesting about them. And then just some of those weird sequences that we saw throughout they would throw in that broke from the main story there. And I'd say finally, I think I'm on the Timmy train. I think I think I've been on it. I think I've been on it for quite a while now, and he just keeps backing it up. So well done, Timmy. Final questions, guys. Let's move them along. We're still running long, but you know how we go. That's how we do. Is this a coffee or wine movie? We can probably keep this one pretty brief today.
Oh, yeah. For me, I mean, it's funny. I think it could honestly go either way because you could just totally nuke yourself drinking some coffee to this, just kind of really get into it. Or I think you could throw back a couple of bourbons and kind of, sit with that too. I think that this is one where, it really does let you get into your thoughts and your feelings. And I think that you could drink just about anything in excess to this movie and kind of feel like you're right in it with him.
I think that's good. Good answer. Mikey.
Guys, I think Griffin nailed it. You could go either way. I can't imagine drinking alcohol and watching this movie. I mean, this guy was such a shitbird at for 3/4 of the movie. You would no. I'm going to say this would be one for me. I'd probably rather have a little coffee and watch it, so then I'd be perked up for it. I think the alcohol would bring me down even more because it was somewhat depressing for me.
Well, I got it as a vodka Red Bull. How about that? So
There you go.
a little bit of both there.
Bang!
Yeah.
Give me a little toss, stand up and at it.
Bang, we have a winner.
Bang!
Red Bull gives you
That's
wings.
nice.
I mean, you got to be
You
flying
need some
through this
wings.
one.
Yeah.
This one is crazy. So I think those might help out here.
Ugh.
God, we didn't mention it, but I feel like we have to mention it, how bad it is that I think the biggest time of him fucking up and screwing his ticket is when he is in Central Park with Kay. He gets this giant stone finally. He had a terrible plan to even get her, and
he kept it around his neck. What an asshole.
Well, I mean, the thing is like he was golden. He could have gone that right then, and then like not 2 seconds later, because he has to start munching box in the middle of the park. The cops get him, and he's got to go get his ass paddled because of it. Man, it's just
He does.
Kay's inconsolable because their fucking play sucked ass. Of course it did.
Oh, God.
That's fun.
Why don't we finish this off, Oz?
Yeah, guys, is this movie better with Nicolas Cage? What?
Oh, God. This movie with Nick Cage, I think there are two great roles that Nick Cage could fill. And you know what? I think our guy Kevin O'Leary did a great job, but how freaking awesome would it be to see Nick Cage as just this real dick? Just the absolute arch nemesis of our guy Marty. I mean, I think that would just be so awesome. I think he would have such a command, and he could dig into being an asshole. Oh, just as much as you wanted him to. He could be Castor Troy, Dad. I think he would just be nasty. I think
Dirty birdie.
He'd be dirty. He'd be a damn rat, man. He'd be on Marty's ass, and he'd be cracking him with that paddle, and he'd love him. Woo! And he'd just be cracking him. Oh, it'd be awesome. So I definitely think this.
He might lick the paddle and smack it.
He might lick his hand and just whack that ass with his hand.
Get a little grab.
Yeah, he might leave a little mark on
Those
his
are my nuts, goddammit!
Nick Cage would be awesome in this movie. If he was not Rockwell, I think he could be our guy Ezra too. I think you kind of make him a little bit like just maybe let him actually have his actual wig, losing that wig, pulling back on him, and he could be that old mobster type, with his damn arm getting crushed. I think he could pull that off too.
Yeah.
But I would much rather see him as Rockwell myself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough to top. Honestly, those were the two that I had. I had him as Ezra, and I had him as Rockwell. Those, Griffin, I think you nailed it. Could you imagine Nick Cage spanking Marty's ass? That would be, my God. Austin, think about it. He would have done it with his hand. He'd have lit his ass up. And then he'd have had that just, hey, that crazy Castor Troy look. It would have been phenomenal. Yes. The movie would be better with Nick Cage.
Yeah. In a movie of cameos, you could throw him somewhere, just about anywhere, right? You could have him as one of the ping pong club owners or something with George Gervin, which would have been fun. He could have definitely done something like that. But the other named character that I have down here is Kletsky. He could be the guy getting the honey licked off him.
Oh, God.
In that sequence, telling that story, just being a little more off, maybe,
Oh, God,
a little quirk.
Sure.
That is, Austin.
That would be fun.
Griffin, he did it again. That's funny, Austin.
Yeah,
Gosh, damn, that's funny.
That is.
Well, all right, guys, let's get on out of here. Let's say our last words. What a fun one, though. That was a blast.
Yeah. Well, again, and here's the thing, guys. We don't necessarily all agree on this movie, but for the last time, I think that's a really good sign. Exactly, that's a good sign. And we had some nice little debate here for a moment, which I think is necessary. I think this movie got us thinking, got us feeling, and I'll say it. I hope Timmy does win. I think he deserves it. I think he had a fantastic performance. Best actor all the way. Give it up to Timmy. Give it up to the Purple Podcast, because we just keep on pushing. Y'all already know it. I know we're moving into movies now for the next little bit of time, which I'm really excited about. I loved getting to see this one at the Shout Out Kentucky Theater here in Lexington. It was a really awesome time for me. I think that we just keep on pushing, boys, and I had a lot of fun here tonight. I'll say that.
Guys, let me say this. Obviously, for those of you listening, I hope there is no script whatsoever. I mean, as we're talking through this movie, there is a lot of good things that I really enjoyed about it. We had our hits and misses. We'll see. Let's see what this one does. I'm probably going to eat shit after it wins an Oscar.
Well, I'm not even going to hold that against you, Mike, because I know this movie is getting Oscars. That. It is it's going to at least get nominated.
It's so different. It probably will, Austin.
Well, it's not. I'm not having a bold take here. It's just there's momentum and there's campaigning for Oscar movies, and if you're campaigning for it, you kind of know which ones are going to get nominated before it. This will be nominated for it. I think it'll be nominated for Best Picture. There's going to be some technical ones probably in there too, like editing, shit like that. Timmy's definitely going to get nominated. I could see Odessa Zion, who plays Rachel, getting maybe a supporting really actress bid. I think I could see that. This is kind of her coming out party. I think she's maybe going to start blowing up. Probably a good time to buy her stock. She was just in a TV show on HBO as well that I Love LA one with Rachel Sennett and Pattinson. So yeah, you're going to see that name around some as well. But I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't think it's one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite of 2025 for sure. It's just, like I said, it's hard for it to be like one of your favorite movies because it's such like a spiral and uncomfortable movie for a lot of ways. But it was something to watch and it was an experience, and you're going to be thinking about it. I think that's undeniable, and I think maybe the quality is then a little bit undeniable in that circumstance as well if you're feeling that kind of way. So, good one. What's up next, guys? We got Avatar, not the way of water. Listen to me, fire and ash. That tells you how much I'm not going to say that I think about Avatar, but it is my pick. I'm picking this here. Avatar is one of the ones that, to be honest, man, I couldn't give two shits about the story, but the spectacle of Avatar, Pandora, that universe is always something to see. I mean, this is, maybe I think the whole series has been billion-dollar movies. So, I mean, you can't deny that either.
Yeah,
like
look at the dollars it makes.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolute phenomenon. And like, I remember that, what was it like? Was it 2009 when the first Avatar came out? It was somewhere around there. I just remember that being a massive thing that had already been in work for like 20 plus years before that or something, James Cameron. And then we had to wait forever for Way of Water. And, 2 years later, I think we're getting Fire and Ash, which is kind of cool. And I think there might be more. I don't know. But yeah, nonetheless, we're going to go see Avatar, Fire and Ash, stay up to date, stay on topic with what's going on in this world. And then we'll figure out what the next one. We got some preliminary ideas, but nothing set in stone yet. But all right, guys, if you have listened all the way through, as always, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Once again, Happy New Year. Hope you're enjoying 2026 so far. Got a little bit to go. We're finishing it up with some 2025 movies, technically because of the release date. But whatever, guys. Let's get on out of here. Thanks for listening all the way through. We'll be talking to you soon. And bye-bye.